Alright, guys, we are on our final chapter. Everyone else is gone. I don't know what we're going to find. I don't know. I mean, at some point, Luke is going to end up by himself with the possessed corpse of the wife he murdered. So, yay. And I don't know if we'll see him in a way. I kind of want to see Hana's murder from his point of view. So I'm curious what thoughts were going through his mind at that point, as well as when he caught Zach and all that kind of stuff. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes. But this chapter should play out quite differently from what we've seen up to this point. I just can't get it out of my head, no matter how hard I try.
You would be nothing without me. Your company would be buried in debt and you'd be begging on the streets if it weren't for me!
I can still feel their stares, the way they judge me with their tiny, empty minds. Pinpricks on the back of my head, eyes all over me. They don't look at me with awe and desire, but with accusations and disgust. If I don't do something, everything I have, everything I've earned, will all amount to nothing.
Honey, I'm home!
Oh, it starts with the murder. Okay. Well. I could think of nothing else all throughout the day, and it has left me nervous and agitated. I've done little else but worry about it. Why, I almost shot a thug in the foot for laughing too loud while I was enjoying a sandwich. And I've contemplated, jumping back and forth between yes and no, will and won't. Mulling over a word that starts with M, and I've been doing so with great malice. Murder on my mind. It seems a bit too much, I know. It's just a thought. But thoughts are dangerous things. Who cares what the buffoons think of me? They are beneath me. But Hana, to think that she feels that way towards me. I can't stomach the thought that she thinks so lowly of me, that she may have always believed me to be less than her. It was the way she looked at me, with eyes so full of anger and hatred, that burns me most of all.
There is no prince that loves another better. She is not deserving.
Hello.
Darling! Love! Buttercup! Why aren't you answering?
Okay, so it kind of seems like maybe the ghost was whispering in his ear and feeding along these thoughts. Eesh.
Upstairs, Luke!
Your princely dignity must not suffer that wretch.
No, I mustn't. I am beneath no one. My steps are slow and heavy as I climb the stairs. One of my knives rests neatly up my sleeve, and its cold blade will not let me forget its presence, nor my intent. Hi, dear. And when I enter our room and look upon her, where she stays, I have a thought that nearly makes me laugh. I might not be a prince here to save the princess in the tower. I just might be the dragon that takes and kills. Yet she doesn't know that. Not yet. Even I am unsure which way it'll go right now.
This lewd woman is not worthy. She should not escape without punishment.
Interesting. Calling Hana lewd, when Charlotte was the real lewd one.
Here I am expecting a warm welcome home, and here you are locked up in the room like a shut-in. Oh, Hana, what am I to do with you? You're looking a little bit pale. Are you all right?
I must have had something funny, actually. Maybe from the party last night. Maybe breakfast or lunch.
Oh, if only that were the case. Perhaps you would have been too sick to do what you did to me last night.
You Hans had been acting really strangely while you were gone. Do you think?
Do I think what? That he poisoned you? Don't be silly. He wouldn't do such a thing unless I tell him to.
That bastard was told to look after her, make sure she doesn't leave. A guard for the princess. Well, he tried to get her to leave. I did not tell him the extent of my plans, only that I hope to talk to her to see how this has come to be. He must have sensed, though. But I can't even find reason to try and forgive her for what she's done. If I am to do anything, it would be best to control the situation so I can steer the story. One cannot get away with crimes as much as I have without being a director of a nature. I can be the loving husband, distraught over his wife's death if needed. Or if she were to, say, disappear, that can be arranged as well, whichever I see fit. A great hesitance comes over me, though, as I hold her in my arms. One that I haven't felt before. Even things such as killing comes easy with the idea that it is for my well-being. But then again, this is Hana. Sweet Hana. Am I really to do this? Perhaps we can still fix things.
She will bring you nothing but troubles and vexations.
Don't you worry. If you are sick, I'll take care of you myself. I did tell you that you'll have my afternoon and every moment after for as long as you live, didn't I? I am just so worried about my poor wifey. That Rochelle woman had some nerve, and I've insulted your honor so. My poor wifey has been through so much.
Silently, I procure my knife and press it against the small of her back. This close, I can feel the hitch of her breath, and it is all too easy to imagine the quickening of her heart. To know I hold another human's life in my hands can be rather breathtaking at times. It is power, after all. Enticing and intoxicating.
My poor, spoiled wifey, Hannah fucking Evans. Silver spoon in her mouth, never had to lift a finger in her goddamn life. Poor wifey trying to ruin everything for me. All that I've worked so hard for. She'll just take it all away. Just like that. We've got to fix that. You know, you and I, we have to make sure you don't pull a dodgy stunt like the one you did last night. Even if we have to take you out of the picture permanently.
It makes one feel like a god and a monster in equal measure. But one cannot be both. Which one am I? I'm...
Kill her. Kill her now.
Why are you doing this?
It is for the best.
Because, Hannah, darling, it's never enough. I want it all.
I want the wild.
She is only getting in our way.
You don't have to do this. You can still have it all, Luke. Just please, don't you love me?
I do love you so very much.
Oh, I still do, Hannah. I do love you.
I love you. I love you. But truth be told, you would have been hurt sooner or later. One way or another. The least I can do is make it quick and painless and have you in my arms as you go. Others go out screaming, suffering, because there is so much pain in this world. This is a gift, right?
But you're outliving your usefulness. In fact, you're becoming a pain in the arse, just like your dear old dad. Now I'm doing you a favor, and you'll be with him again. Real soon.
There's no prince more caring and loving. Now be rid of her.
Which is why I must do this, even though it pains me to.
What's so funny?
There's nothing funny, so why am I laughing as well? Like a maniac.
We would have been so beautiful.
How does one get away with murder? By being clean and efficient. Okay, I thought that was gonna be a hypothetical, but he's like, no, you gotta clean up. By being methodical. By being ready to do anything and everything to make sure you aren't caught or implicated of the crime. A knife in the back. They never quite see it coming, do they? And the knife stays in there until the blood stops flowing as freely as it does. A cork stopper for something a lot more gory than wine. It means a lot less blood on my person as well. There's no time to delay. No time to think twice while I start to drag the body. Face down so that the blood doesn't spill on the floor. I can't take her out into the hallway just yet in case an errant servant strays past. But the room next to ours is remote and inaccessible to the rest of the house. Hana has forbidden anyone to go in there. What would be the children's room, as she has wished it to be, is a pet project of hers. Only she and McCulloch have been allowed. Nobody would even dare set a foot in there. Even I have not, though it was mostly out of indifference. It'll have to do for now. A thorough cleaning will also have to be scheduled. Some lye will need to be purchased. Or actually, daffodils. Cover it up with fertilizer and we can plant daffodils on it. Alibis will have to be planned. Possibilities for that are endless and will have to be thought through later. In the meantime, my body moves on autopilot. How many times have I done this? I don't really know. Although it has been a while, I act with a familiarity I should be disturbed by. My mind screams, "It's Hana," but a part of me snuffs it out. It tells me to be quiet and be a good little boy. I've done this before, and being sentimental has not done me any favors. What I do now has gotten me far in life, so why should this be any different? It was Hana. Now it's simply a cooling body. That's all this is. A body and a crime scene I need to be rid of. Right. In my hurry to hide the body, what I see next blindsides me.
What? What is all this?
Heart's going. Walls in off-white, a simple base to be painted on with another color, makes the room stand in contrast to the others plastered with wallpaper. The area is sparsely furnished with little more than a little toy chest tucked in the corner of the room, along with a shelf, barren except a few books and trinkets. 2 teddy bears stare down at me from their shelves. But it is what stands by the window that catches me off guard. There's a moment of confusion, as if my brain has shut down and it has to catch up with what I am seeing. I imagine I must be a ghastly sight when the blood has left my cheeks already. I have to clutch at my chest, fearing that my beating heart would just burst. I have to take a step back before I can stumble forward. I feel faint, like I'm floating and any step I take will send me falling. Though it doesn't need much to take me off my feet, not when my knees shake. And not when the body becomes too much of a burden to carry. What happened to you? From cradle to grave. A crib, of all bloody things, stands in the corner, innocent and unassuming. I can almost hear their laughter, mocking me without pity. But none are as condemning as the sound of my own thoughts ringing in my head. So is that how he found out she was pregnant? He's like, we don't have any family with babies. Oh, crap. Look at what you've done. Look at what you've destroyed. That's all you do, isn't it? Make a mess of and kill everything you touch. Is nothing precious? Is nothing sacred? Is nothing safe? You are your father's son. The possible implications of what I've done weighs heavily, looming over my head as she lays still in my arms. Any will I had, any strength I had mustered in order to hide what I have done seeps away. I can't hold on to her anymore. I have no right to. My very touch corrupts and stains everything with blood. And Hana, she was just too pure, too good. I wasn't worthy. But I was too greedy and I had to ruin her too. With reverence, an odd thing to feel for someone I just murdered, I carefully put her down on the ground. That's all I can manage. I can't even pick myself up. Fatigue takes over me and I resign myself to sit with my back against the wall. I killed her. I never thought I would actually go through with it. I have told myself many times in the past that I would kill her one day. After a fight, I would grit my teeth and tell myself that I could get rid of her. But when the anger has faded away, I've always changed my mind. I needed her, wanted her alive. I've always managed to stay my hand, never to harm her, neither with a fist nor an open palm. Now she's dead because of me. I know what I'm capable of. I've done so many selfish, heinous things in the pursuit of happiness. But to kill someone I actually love...
Wake up, Buttercup. This isn't real. This can't be happening.
Ugh, man. I can't even imagine what's going on with him right now.
This is a nightmare. That's all it is.
There is no denying it. Not with the smell of blood. Her blood, musty and nauseating, filling the air like a sickly sweet perfume. It's a bit troubling how used I am to it. Death is something that I am all too familiar with. Death shaped me. It has given, and it has taken. And, oh, how it has taken. I never liked it when it takes from me. And all of this? This room? If it meant what I think it does, I
killed them. I killed them.
Their blood is not the first to taint my hands. I've killed men and women, whether it be by my own hands or by my orders. But never children. After all, why would I condone the killing of someone who hasn't done me wrong? Helpless and innocent little things. Their deaths do not serve me any purpose. I don't want to believe it.
No. Wake up! Open your eyes! Raise your sleepy head!
This is not real.
Wake up, little Lucille!
Oh gosh. What have I done? That scream. I was kind of waiting for that scream with Ash when he was in the car mourning his friends, but it never came. But Luke delivered for me, so thanks, Luke, for that anguished cry into the darkness. Oh, the teddy bears. Oh, that's too soon. Knowing he couldn't take Hana's corpse out yet, in case an errant servant strayed past, Luke dragged his wife's lifeless body to the remote room next to theirs. But upon opening its doors, what greeted him was a horrible realization. Ugh. I don't know how long I sat in there, faced with Hana's corpse in that horrid room. For a brief moment, I had thought it's a good idea to sit her up, as if that would change anything. But the notion alone is stupid. One among the many, and it leaves me with little energy. At the very least, I managed to heave myself out at one point, only able to drag myself to the foot of our bed. Looking out the window shows the light has given way to darkness, enveloping everything with the night sky. On any other night, it might have given me comfort. But now I want to rewind time and have my sunshine once more. I loved her.
And that's why she had to go.
No, you ghost, you did this. To be honest, I really don't know how to feel.
Face it, Lucille Mitchell Wright. You owe me everything.
I was just blinded with rage with how she humiliated me at the party. I've worked so hard to be where I am, but in the fickle society of the rich and famous, my own wife turned on me like that is basically social suicide. Oh, my own wife turning on me like that is basically social suicide. That makes more sense. I was so angry, ready to protect what I've built for myself at all costs. I still feel the anger burning low, but for some reason it is directed at myself. With it, confusion rears. Questions come and go as I second-guess myself in my actions.
It had to be done. She was getting in our way.
Yes, yes, it had to be done. She was... Was she getting in my way? No, no, that's not it. I did it because... Because? I don't know. A rawness scrapes at me until I'm left feeling cold and hollow. It carves out my insides and has me wanting to scratch at my skin. It's crushing, suffocating, and it makes me want to claw at my own throat. I've only felt this once before, when she died. One can only call it grief. Perhaps this is the worst feeling of all.
She deserved it.
Oh, well, glad you're still sane.
It's all her fault. With her out of the picture, I can focus on me. I can do what I want without compromising. And besides, I never wanted to be a father anyway.
You need neither that whore of a woman nor her children.
I would never want to be a father. I can't imagine what kind of father I would be and wouldn't wish myself on any child. Not with who I had as an example. Damien Wright was not a very good father in the short time I had him as one. In fact, he hadn't been a father at all. He cared little for me, didn't even know about my existence until he needed an heir. There are others out there, other children that I could call my brothers and sisters. I know of one brother from Brighton, older than I by many years, who was cast aside because he was ill. Another born within the same week as I was ignored because he had a preference for men. Interesting. He chose me not because he loved me, but because I was the only son of acceptable standards among the many illegitimate children he's conceived. I wasn't a son to take care of, but a successor to groom in order to keep the right name alive. I was a tool, an investment. Not family, not even a person. Not that I hardly knew my father as one either. But even without that, I wouldn't want to bring a child onto this earth. I know the world with all it has to offer. Cold, cruel, and harsh, in which no true kindness can survive in one piece. Humanity is more beastly than any animal that roamed the land. Humans can be the most horrible of monsters. I am one of them. So if I'm a monster, then why does this hurt me so much?
This is fine. I'm fine.
This is fine. I just gotta sit in my fire with my coffee and say, this is fine. That has to be the biggest lie I've ever said. And I've lied a lot.
You feel pain now, my prince, because of your kind and caring heart. But that shall pass.
You good? It's a laughable enough notion on its own. Of course, humor is subjective. Well, here comes Johann sliding into frame. Schroken comes in with a grim look on his face. I would assume that he was expecting a bloodbath in here, judging by the slowness of his steps. There is a mess in here, just not that kind. I don't think he was expecting me to be in the state that I am. Sitting on the ground, haggard looking with blood drying on the sleeves of my suit, all while I giggle like I've just heard the funniest joke in the world.
What is so funny?
We would have been so beautiful together.
Hana's last words sound like a terribly bad joke coming from me.
There were toys in there, you know. And this bloody book of names. Do you know what this means? Did you? Did you know about this? And don't you dare lie to me. If you knew about this and you let me kill my own child, I'll fucking murder yours.
I think you might have a problem on your hands if you threaten Johans. I stare him straight in the eye, just daring him to lie about this. If he knew. If he knew, he should have stopped me. If he knew that Hana was pregnant and did not tell me, he does not show it. The silence is not telling. But my blood boils as I feel how he judges me. You're a monster, Luke Wright, he says without speaking.
Don't look at me like that!
I bet he knew, and still kept quiet about it. This is why I mustn't trust anyone. Liars and thieves, a lot of them. Of course, that makes me quite the hypocrite, doesn't it? But it's a dog-eat-dog world. Becoming one of them is going to be inevitable sooner or later, had I been innocent of these sins in the first place. I want to lash out, to scratch and bite and tear, become the monster I really am. I am the dragon that craves treasure and sets fire to the world. Smog. I'll kill him. I'll kill them all! I already killed Hana, after all. Why should anybody else be safe?
She asked me to keep it secret. Unsure if you would be happy to be a father.
He admitted it.
I did not think you would do such a thing. I let myself hope for the best, for once. You loved her so. The question is, would you have done things differently because of this knowledge? Would you listen to me? To anyone other than her, for that matter? If they forbade you from doing as you please?
Man, Johan's got balls, man. And that's the kicker, isn't it? Because I don't know the answer to that myself. I want to scream. But I just feel so tired that I can no longer protest when I'm picked up off the floor by the arm like some reprehensible waif. I say nothing as I'm ushered into bed and told to sleep. And as the lights are turned off, the terrace doors are closed and the curtains shut, only then do I manage to speak.
What? Not going to tuck me in and tell me to have sweet dreams?
Nothing. He doesn't speak or even acknowledge that he heard me. The man merely collects the dirty laundry and leaves without a second glance. There is nothing but silence, cold and lonely and oppressing. How long has it been since I've slept alone? Far too long. I can't even imagine how I've managed to sleep without a warm body beside me before I had Hana. Still, the fatigue soon catches up and pulls me to sleep's embrace. Ugh. Oh, that is cruel. It is not her sobs that I hear, but his, hers, theirs. I'll never know now, will I? It was gonna be both. I've killed them. By my own doing, I've ended all of it, even before anything has begun. Their blood drips from my hands, pooling at my feet, lapping at my ankles, like the cold, suffocating embrace of my sins. They creep up my limbs, slow and unhurried, twisting and turning. Up and up it goes, until nothing but a sharp, guttural cry escapes from my mouth. Then, all at once...
We would have been so cute.
Well, I guess that's one way to stop babies crying. I choke back a scream and wake up in a cold sweat. With my heart pounding in my ears, it takes a while to remember where I am. There's something in the room with me. In the dark and cold of the room, one can't fault me for feeling ill at ease. It isn't as bright as the penthouse, and the renovations did little to change how old it feels. We've been here for less than a week. It'll take a bit more time to adjust. It's hard to feel cozy, though, when I'm bloody freezing. Nudging the lump of fabric next to me, I sigh.
It's cold. Don't hog the sheets, Hana.
She always did this, though it hardly bothers me. How tired are you? I mean, I know you just woke up, but still. Growing up, I was lucky to have something to use as a mattress. I'm not the one who grew up accustomed to Egyptian cotton with a thread count of 800. Besides, the warmth that Hana exuded on her own is usually enough to keep me sleeping through the night. The temperature tonight must be something else with how chilly it is right now. It takes a while. Then I remember. It can't be Hana. So... who is it? The horrible image of Hana's cold corpse lying underneath the sheets comes to mind. Let it be anything but that. An intruder seeking warmth and shelter from the cold, dreary night. A maid sneaking in with mischief in mind. A hired hitman that has it out for my head. Even the last would be better than finding her there. I can fight off a man with a gun. I can't say the same about the sight of her dead eyes reminding me of what I've done. The smart thing to do here is to get out, really. But, a nagging curiosity aside, I have to know what they're here for. And more importantly, what they've seen. What if they've seen what's in the other room? Why linger? Do they hope to blackmail me, and this is a sick way of sticking around until they can talk to me? If I leave now, they might as well. Just the act of trespassing alone should be cause enough for punishment. Whether that punishment leads to a swift execution remains to be seen. There's no sign that they've heard me, nor have they shown any sign of moving where they lie. With care, I go for a knife hidden under the side of my bed. It would be foolish of me to instigate anything while I'm unarmed, after all. To pull back the covers would be a more difficult affair, because reaching out to uncover who was underneath, I have to prepare for anything and assume the worst. If I so much as see the nozzle of a gun, there's going to be another murder tonight. I see the rise and fall of the sheets, though it could easily be mistaken as the fault of the breeze. I'd like to believe that is breathing I'm hearing. Having an intruder in my bed, no matter how absurd, would be preferable to insanity. To know that my mind is rebelling against me, making me believe Hana still lives, and that she would even go anywhere near the monster that I've become. A great sense of foreboding comes over me, making me hesitate with my plan. I should just get out of here, not look back, and let security handle it. That's what they're there for. But I don't much like the idea of people swarming in here, especially not with a dead body in the other room. The fewer people that know about it, the better. That's always a good rule to follow with this sort of thing. I'm on my own, then. But what's the worst that could happen, right? I've no reason to be afraid. There's no bogeyman under the bed, no monster in my closet. If anything, these things should be afraid of me. Right? I grab a fistful of sheets and throw them aside. I see you, girl. You gonna be there? You gonna move? She moved. Only we got to see that. Luke woke up in the middle of the night with a scream and in cold sweat. Finding comfort in the warm body next to his, he tried to get back to sleep and forget the images plaguing his mind, until he remembered that Hana was already a cold corpse left in the nursery. Nothing. Nothing but a bunch of pillows stare back at me. Of course there's nothing under the sheets. Hana is dead, and no other body has or will ever grace my own bedside. But what I felt, the breathing I had heard, it isn't mine. Most likely the imaginary constructs of the guilty mind, of course. What else could it have been? Must be my imagination. I mean, look at me. I'm running on fumes, and it's got me bloody paranoid. I need more sleep, and maybe I'll take the day off as well. That sounds delightful, yes. Quiet and rest should do my head wonders. I'll have some much-needed winks, and I can figure out what I'm going to do with it. For now, hush, and off to the realm of sleep. Hush, and think of nothing but fields of daffodils. Well, good luck with that, and good luck telling Kylie about this. The pleasant dreams refuse to linger, however. With the morning comes another disturbance. Both too loud and too sharp for my tastes. Zach. And I have very fine tastes. When the piercing rings of a doorbell reaches even the bedroom, I'm very much inclined to think the person who built this place lacks any sense of it. Can I skip this part? No. This is all considered new. Perhaps the only thing good in this is that the ruckus has effectively chased away all the whispers and the needling guilt, if only temporarily. Still, it's a bloody annoying distraction. I can tell already that it is going to be a long day. It hasn't even started. Okay, how about now? Yep, more murder stuff. Okay, fine. I'll stop trying to push it. Before the racket even lasts another minute, I'm peeling myself off the bed and heading straight for the main door. There will be another murder today if this doesn't let up. How quaint. Seems everything in this blasted universe is intent on getting in my nerves as of late.
They are unworthy of your attention, my prince.
Are you just gonna whisper at me forever?
Gordon Bennett! Only a Nancy would knock at such an ungodly hour!
Gordon! In the first place, I shouldn't be the one doing this. This is why I hired a valet, for fuck's sake.
Where's that damn butler when I need him?
Then you can get your just desserts.
Cast them away. Drive them away.
I'll be honest, if only for today. With the mansion this quiet at this hour of the morning, it's easy to believe those little ghost stories might be real. But the only horror here is what I've done last night. The blood still on my hands, regardless of how many times I've washed it off. Neither the deafening silence nor the biting chill spreading across every room in the place. There's no place for fear when guilt already burns that fuel. So I wait for another second. When no butler still answers my call, I simply yank the doors open myself, perhaps with more force than needed. Hey, Zach. Good to see you again. And maybe it should be appropriately there, considering the person on the other side and the hour he dared appear on my doorstep. Even someone with half a brain knows not to disturb anyone this early. Brief confusion quickly gives way to anger, and before the bloody photographer can even get a word in, I'm hurling venom at him. It's less than he deserves, really. Hana would disapprove, scold me for treating the photographer with such disrespect. She seemed fond of him, after all, despite meeting him only once or twice. He's merely doing his job, she'd say. But she's no longer here, isn't she?
You? How the hell did you get in here? What in 7 hells do you want? It's bloody 6 in the morning!
Listen, sir, I know this is not a good time.
Oh, it's not a good time! Did you even check the clock before coming here? I bet you didn't!
My home, my rules now. As simple as that.
Unlike you, the ones living in this house need to sleep.
Oddly, the words taste foreign and bitter in my tongue. A remorse slowly taking home, creeping up and twining inside, reminding me of my transgressions when it hasn't done so before. Funny how the years have changed me. So I let anger guide them instead, if only because it's easier to cast it away when you have someone else to project it onto. It just so happens it's a person I will never take a liking to, no matter what the memory of her says in my mind. A plus, I suppose? A blessing. At least I won't feel any remorse if my ire does pierce.
Only you matters. No one else.
Come back when people are actually awake, or I'll call security on you.
He continues shouting, even as I slam the door in his face. Some nonsense about the news lately, though I don't understand most of it. However, with the closed doors muffling the better part of it, and with no ears to listen, his tirade doesn't last too long. Eventually, he leaves, and silence once again fills the room, as it should. In hindsight, maybe I should also call for psychiatric services. He certainly sounds mental, just screaming like that. A suspicious man like him left roaming the immediate grounds? Nothing good can come of it. But if his presence will indeed bring a problem, a sign of bad things to come, I'll probably know soon enough. Worst comes to worst, Strokin will take care of it if need be. It's what I'm paying him for. In the meantime, the bigger problem at hand. The hush is quickly replaced by the nightmarish reality of what I had done and what I must do. Though the guilt weighs heavily upon me, I need to push it aside and proceed as necessary. Emotions play no part in this. Regret will not keep me out of jail if I don't hide my crime one way or another. Oh, it should be easy! Just hide the body, no? Drain the body, crush the teeth, burn off her fingerprints, and mar her face past the point of recognition before chopping the body up. There'll be plenty of options after that. Incineration, feeding it to animals, dumping it into the ocean. Don't feed it to animals, it's gross. Oh, she would like that last one, wouldn't she? Of course, there is always the option to let her decompose and become fertilizer for my daffodils. That really isn't the big issue, though.
This whole murder business just ruins a good Sunday morning, does it not?
Yeah, it turns you right off your tea. Hana, my dear Hana. Till death do us part.
And you must part. Forget about her.
Yet even in death I cannot let you go. My hands still shake at the very idea that I have your blood on them. My insides feel both numb and afire because of the sin I have committed. My lips quiver as I fight off the urge to cry prayers and apologies in the hopes that they would be enough to bring you back. But I know that this is no fairy tale. I have to laugh. To think I was just talking about happily ever afters with Pink a few days past, wasn't I? If she were in my place, I'd be rubbing it in her face about how right I was. I'm not jaded, just realistic. And here I am now, hoping so much that I can still be afforded one. But I'm not going to wake up the slumbering princess with a kiss, true love or otherwise. No sentiment or good intention will change the cruel reality of life. Even if miracles do exist, I do not think they would happen for a man such as myself. The past cannot be changed. I must deal with the consequences to come, regardless of what the other person who has just walked in says. And he always has to have an opinion.
I think murder would ruin a sane person's mood no matter the day or time.
True that?
Continue mouthing off and there'll be a second one, Shraken. I've killed for less in the past.
Schraken.
I've been soft, complacent. Those things need to change.
She made me soft. Over the years, I've been told marriage has made me a kept man. Of course, people stopped saying that after I shot a fool who thought disrespecting my wife would get him anywhere. Now that she's gone, though, well, who knows?
I mean no disrespect. Excuse the murmurings of the insane, yes? But I have every confidence and every dread that you will go through with it. However, about the madame, how shall we proceed? I'm sure it has come to you that this will need more attention than the others who have gone under our care.
Mm-hmm. The chances of her remains being found is slim if we do things properly, as we have done in the past. But the chances of her disappearance going unnoticed, not bloody likely. She was Hana. Whether she was Hana Evans or Hana Wright, she's practically Luxburn royalty. Her disappearance will cause quite the stir. And who will be suspect number one? Me, of course, after that public blow-up she had at the party. This won't be as easy as, say, killing an ordinary accountant who's looked into the numbers a bit too thoroughly, or an attorney who hopes to get in my way. For now, I need time to plan to, at the very least, hide the body and cover up her disappearance. That's why I had the rest of the staff sent away except for Shroken. I'm still not quite sure how to say that.
I suppose we can't just sweep this under the rug, can we? What about a magic trick, then? Can we pull off a sleight of hand? Now you see her, now you don't?
Misdirection. Clever. You could blame the butler. I would not mind retirement.
Thanks for being willing to fall on the sword.
A nice try, but I'm not letting you go. I still own you until I see fit.
The way you said, a nice try.
There's no need for you to take the fall. Not when there are plenty of others I can pinpoint as the culprit. Why even make it murder?
I don't think turning it into a kidnapping story will work. But Hana was sociable enough, and she had plenty of suitors. She could have been a bit too friendly with one of them. That would be the pot calling the kettle black. But she might have, if she was falling out of love with me. She might have wanted to leave me for another. Someone else who caught her eye, her interest. Just our very visitor this morning, in fact.
People don't like a film about colors. I suppose they would have liked Blue Bibby a lot more.
Oh, that's interesting. Now this is making me wonder what would have happened if Zach hadn't died.
Very funny.
So, Grand Director, do you want to tell me what Blue Foncé is all about?
I was talking with Zachary, the photographer for Luxury Living. He was a perfect gentleman, Luke. I can't say the same for you as of recent. Look, Luke, nothing will happen. You have to relax. It was just a friendly chat.
Is that why he's here? Unlikely. But her? Is that why she pulled that fucking stunt in public? Did she really not love me anymore? Is it because of the photographer? Or is it someone else? How many others could be at fault for her change of heart?
This is all her fault. She already had you and she let herself stray.
I'm filing away all these lines, Ghost Lady.
What if we said that she eloped, ran away with another man?
I'd sooner believe she was killed by the Anselm Butcher than think she fled with another man. But it could work.
Thanks for sticking up for Hana.
The masses will eat up such gossip. We can fake evidence, signs that will point to her traveling with a companion. Though, if I may be a bit honest, I loathe to speak ill of her or create rumor.
What if it isn't a rumor? What if there was someone? Why else would she act out like that? The falling out would be the best excuse to leave me, while coming out as the victim. Whatever the case, it'll put me under less scrutiny. The police will investigate if it's a murder or a kidnapping or a sudden disappearance. But they won't really bother with marital and relationship issues, will they?
They are not minors, and I suppose the police will not bother unless you file a case. They have more problems than a love affair. It would be best to consult someone who knows the law a bit more intimately. Your lawyer, yes?
Yes, but he's away on a holiday, enjoying the beaches on some back-end country or some such. Somewhat called Philippians or something?
You seriously never heard of the Philippines? What the heck?
He told me he'll be back on the 2nd of November.
Wouldn't that be a bit too late? If we have to wait that long, we can consult someone else. The chief inspector might be willing.
Yes, I suppose I can ask Lee. He's an idiot, but he's an idiot who studied the law. But if I ask questions, he'll pry, and I'd like to not give too much away. The trick to keeping a secret is to have as few people as possible know about it. Take a few people down and put them in their graves if I have to. At least the lawyer is paid to believe I'm innocent and won't be nosy about the whole thing. And really, it's just because...
I don't trust him with this. He's probably busy with that wife of his, if she's still even in the city.
Who can I even trust, really?
You can trust your most faithful servant, for I am the only one who truly loves you, my prince.
A person's loyalty stops where greed starts. They all bow down to curry favor, faking smiles and attending to my every whim, expecting approval and gifts in exchange. That is all well and good for me. Let it not be said that I am not a generous prince. But it is those who I reign over through fear that I must watch out for. People like Harvey Lee fell under both of those. He catered to me shamelessly so that I can aid him with his wishes in turn. And when he found out that he was in too deep, I had to leash him lest he get in my way. Sure, I say jump, and he'll ask how high, but he's a spineless little shit. The moment he thinks he sees the opportunity to turn the tables on me, he'll take it. Bribery and blackmail can only go so far. One needs to make the other person bend, but take care not to have them broken. If they believe they have nothing to lose, that's when they retaliate. At the very least, he'll try to use the knowledge to try and gain leverage to be on equal grounds with me. And if he does that, I'll be forced to kill him. I don't like letting go of my toys because they decide to be stupid. Handling idiots can be so tiring. No matter how many of them die off, another 3 can be found within a stone's toss. It's best to make use of them, one way or another, until it's decided that they need to be deleted from the gene pool.
It won't do to use a story until we're certain it's believable. After all, it's the first time I've become a widower. Until then, keep the others away from her body.
Ah, there's Zach. Standing up to leave, I grow still at the sound of shattering glass. A dampness leaks into my shoes as red stains the hem of my pants and my socks. I forgot I was having wine. Huh.
Go clean that up and leave me be. I've already had the other staff take the day off. I don't want to see hide or hair of you unless I call.
Which will be soon. There's no peace to be had just yet, apparently. The other man is quick to follow and quick to speak up, as there aren't any to witness such disrespect or to hear what had to be said.
You do realize it has been 12 hours. Rigor mortis has already set in. Any longer and then it will start smelling like a sewer. I will not be able to do anything about that without removing the corpse itself. In 3 days' time, the smell will have seeped into the walls, and you will have to replace those to even get rid of it.
Really? I did not know that.
If you're not keen about disposing the body just yet, at the very least we can put it in a freezer.
I suppose a chest freezer for the wine cellar wouldn't raise too many questions. And look, I don't want to think about this right now. I don't care if you have to fill the room with potpourri or douse all the walls with perfume. Go order a freezer and have it delivered today even.
Gross.
Just make sure it doesn't stink up the place until we get rid of the body. Make it happen. This is your problem now.
If you are not to attend to it, will you be reporting to work then? You've already cancelled your appointments for the day, but some are still insistent that you keep to your original meetings. The board of directors are especially adamant about talking about the hotel and...
I put up a hand to stop the man from talking before he goes any further. Why, I can already feel the migraine building up from all his worrying. It's a part of his job, I understand, but I said I was going to have the day off. So be assured, I am going to have the bloody day off.
Goodness, no. I think I deserve a break. A day or two, or 3 without being surrounded by complete dunderheads. Director Hahn can handle those busybodies for a while, can't he?
For fuck's sake, I can have the week off if I want, and my finances will not be the worst for wear. My company and the businesses aren't going to keel over and die just because I decided to take leave for a bit, right? It's not like I'm the only competent businessman there. I mean, at least I hope not.
It's too early for this. I'm going to try and get some proper sleep. If anybody calls, tell them they can sod off and bother me another day.
Before there are any more protests, I pull my mobile out of my pocket and toss it his way. By the time he catches it, I'm already halfway up the stairs. But no sooner, as I flop on the bed and try to close my eyes once more, to get maybe an hour or 2 of more rest, the violent sound of glass breaking comes from another room. Ah, there it is. I would think it was just one of the cleaners, probably dropping a plate or a vase, and I would have left Schroken to sort it out. But the crash sounded too close to come from anywhere else but the room where Hana. My breath catches in my throat, and at the pace it goes, my heart is near threatening to escape from my ribcage. Without even realizing, I'm already up on my feet. Any intent to sleep has been forgotten in favor of rushing to the door while dread fills my stomach. Could it be a burglar? My fear turns into a seething fury at the thought. If it is, they'd regret their trespasses.
There should be a law against noise this early in the morning.
Alright, we're back to this. I wonder if he'll notice all the writing on the wall. Wrenching the door open, I can't quite believe my eyes as I see who stands before me. It's him. His ilk are trouble. Always have been. I've no doubt that their true intentions are as dark as their skin. Luke. For a long time, people like him have given me trouble in my youth. And some of their men would even dare lay a hand upon my mother, as if their presence was welcome and their stolen money meant anything. They, who lived on our lands and off our wealth, taking from our people's goodwill. Mother had told me to be kind to them, that they were as human as any of us were. I tried to listen to her, but couldn't find it in me to do so. Not when too many of them would show up as clients, taking my mother as if she was their property. Oh, wow. It is great to get some backstory on, like, the motivations for his racism. I'm like, okay, I can understand, but whee. Not when I can still remember dark hands bringing pain, both upon me and my mother. Okay. I can understand. Oh sure, white men also did the same, but none were as strong or as rough as these wogs. Okay, now I don't... So it's both, but... Really? Man. I don't even know. These black-skinned louts made for better nightmare material, frequenting my sleep often enough. I was always so afraid that they would come out of the shadows to hurt me, naive child that I was. Father. Well, for once that was something we had agreed on. They were good for nothing but cheap labor. Oh, God. And violence, of course. Their presence amongst my men made for an intimidating sight. Oh, but there is something else they're good for, too.
Hana? Hana, darling?
Oh. Wow. All those thoughts went through your mind in this very moment? Sheesh.
Buttercup! Love, speak to me.
Me.
I know this looks bad.
It is so easy to slip into the role of a victim. To pretend that I'm in shock at the sight.
You! What did you do?
I know this looks really bad. It's just standing here in your house with a dead body, but I can explain.
You killed her! You ones! Get in here!
And who else can I blame? Who else can be the culprit but this trespasser in my house? As he makes more excuses, near desperation, I have to take care not to show the glee as I lay all accusation on him. And when he swears to whatever god he believes in, my man is quick to arrive and pull me back out to the bedroom, to safety, while he deals with this interloper. When all is said and done, incapacitating him is a quick affair. For all the Negro's great bulk, he is weak, and it didn't take long to bring him down and to make sure he stayed down. By then, the sun is already rising off in the distance. Stroken steps out of the nursery with a questioning look on his face.
Call the police! Get rid of this rubbish!
Certainly. Will you be having teas this morning?
Bring it to my study, and, clean out that awful stench.
I don't bother to linger longer than necessary after that. I have to think of what comes next. What now? That's the proper question to ask after all that's happened. To think I would have been so stressed out trying to find a way to cover her death up. Then this golden opportunity just drops into my lap. Or rather, breaks into my home. I can't quite believe my luck. This is far too perfect. It makes it all so easy. Yeah, I'm curious what you would have done otherwise. Unfortunately, this probably would be the headline. Aw, Zach. Having no obligations today, Luke made plans on how to take care of the situation with Hana without risking the authorities or anyone else finding out. By some stroke of luck, he found Zachary trespassing the nursery where the corpse was being kept, giving Luke the perfect alibi. I can see the headlines now. Black man murders Hana Wright. They won't even suspect I have any hand in her death. Who would accuse the poor widower Luke Wright? And I'll make sure the police confirms that as a fact. If there is ever any time to visit Officer Harvey Lee and have him cooperate, it would be now. If I play it right, even the public will be crying out to have his head, and I'll never have to worry about this ever again. After a spot of tea and breakfast, of course. I need time to compose myself, to calm down, and to come up with my story. Because I'm practically giddy, my body near vibrating at the thought that I'd get away scot-free from this, all due to that man's sheer bad luck. I have to hold back laughter as I go through my breakfast, dismissing the policemen that come to survey the crime scene and collect the man.